Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is a scene for Living World of Darkness, Werewolf Venue. Today we have Raiko. Raiko wants to do a thing, and she has been pretty vocal about what she wants to learn. Being that her recent exploits on the field of battle and the recent artifacts she's found, there are things she wants to do, people she wants to meet, connections she wants to follow. So with that, your request is followed up by a particular silver fang who seems to be in a charitable mood. And we'll start our scene here.
So, after doing rounds and tending to issues of family for the day, Reiko finally takes the 4 hours or so between the end of her shift and when she sleeps um, as personal time. She goes and she seeks out this person who extended the invitation to help her learn a gift that all Garu need. And she, being no exception to that, has been rather adamant about learning it, especially what after what happened with the rite of contrition fiasco.
You're asked to meet um by a lake. There's a lake with a shrine, and a woman is sitting there with her feet in the lake. She seems to be tossing flowers into the lake.
Reiko approaches somewhat with a measured steps, making sure that her footfalls are heard rather than sneaking up on someone she doesn't know.
Hmm.
And so she makes very deliberate footsteps and will come and stand a few feet away, looking out over the water.
Good evening.
Good evening, yourself.
So, you want to learn to talk with spirits, yes?
Yes.
I believe, as she pats the ground beside her, I am answers from stars. Khalif Silverfang, born on two legs.
Reiko takes a seat next to where Answers from Stars beckoned her, and she she nods as she hears the introduction. Eyes of the sunrise, Cleith, Stargazer, Arun, born on two legs.
She smiles. So, as with most things, I do have one request for you, from you. Should you accept, I'll be more than happy to teach you, or at least set up the initial conversation with said spirit.
It always depends on the nature of the request, but I have no problem hearing you out.
The nature of my request is twofold. Um, the first one is the new the new cubs coming into their own. Some will be graduating and be taking on their rites of passage. Um, one such as you who has endured much. She looks at you, her eyes sort of soft. I would ask that you unofficially keep an eye out for them.
Who is this cub you speak of?
Cubs with an S. She smiles. Nothing that would directly cause you harm, but if you see them cutting up, messing up, easily rectifiable mistakes, would you give them a nudge in the right direction?
As long as it doesn't infringe on the territory of the den parents, I don't see anything wrong with that request.
Unofficially, she smells.
Any
Just so
second.
they have 3 hours. Then mother, then father, and auntie, as she looks at you.
Reiko just keeps a stoic look on her face, not trying to give away any expression on that one.
Mhm. Is this acceptable?
What is the second part of your request?
The second part of the request is the one known as Jacob has recently become a Khalil. I wish take a special. He is a recently graduated Khalil. Watch out for him.
I can't say how much you would want me to look out for him.
Don't let him know.
I will see where the road takes me and see how I can help.
That's all I ask. And don't let on that it was me.
Very well.
If he figures it out, he figures it out. But don't make it easy.
Nothing involving me is ever easy.
This is why you would be the perfect choice. With that, she kind of swirls her finger into the water, and a water nymph will sprout from the lake. And she will smile at it, and you will hear Perception Primal Large.
Five dice roonies. Three successes.
It seems to be friendly in nature, non-aggressive, and seems to be having a very adamant conversation with the edge. And after a while, she will offer it a flower, and you'll hear a very ethereal, gurgly sound at you. And it takes a minute, and then you hear, "You want to learn how to talk?"
Reiko just smiles and she nods.
And why?
Most would say that the purview of a blood moon is simply to fight, to be the claws and teeth that Gaia ordained us to be. But to not recognize the nuance of what it is to be Garu, not recognize that there are many facets to what each auspice does, is extremely short sighted.
I see. And she'll gaze upon you, splash you. How does Reiko respond when she's splashed?
Well, considering that last time she was splashed was by a unruly cub that she put in a shopping cart,
Mm-hmm.
um, this is a spirit, so it gets far more leeway than the cub was afforded.
Fair
Um,
enough.
she just kind of she doesn't look amused or bemused. The word she doesn't look amused or upset at it. She's just somewhat inquisitive as to what the reason the splash or why the splash was done, but she doesn't
Mm.
vocalize anything.
You're very serious and looks at you again. Why? Why is one such as you so serious? Such a lighthearted thing I've done, and you still maintain the stoic expression.
The path that I am on is one not of jovialness or I'm on a path of redemption, living atonement.
Does your atonement have an absence of joy, or is this just your decision?
I would say that it is more a self imposed absence of joy.
Well, then you will have to allow joy and different aspects of your personality to come forth if you are to successfully talk to one such as myself and others. She says to you in a very soothing manner.
Others here do not take kindly to any amount of joy that I express.
She looks somewhat disappointed.
I chose a path that brought shame upon myself, and it is not one that I can ever unlock. The stains of that choice are forever marred on me, and as such, I will always be looked upon. When I take joy in anything, it has to be diminished.
I will teach you. But in order for you to learn from one such as me, you must bring joy to at least three guru. This is what I ask of you.
She looks visibly taken aback by that, and already those expressions of self doubt sort of come over her face as she sort of wrings her fingers into the trailing ends of her sash around her waist.
When one is able to Think less of the self and more of others. True peace can be found.
If this is the task that you require of me, I will undertake it, though I cannot say with any certainty how it will play out.
An active choice on your part to bring happiness into another's life is no small task. Do this and I shall teach you. The effort is what counts.
I will try.
And with that, she goes back into the water with a slight splash.
Reiko sits there contemplating, and after a bit, she seems to have a resolute idea of what she wants to do, and she stands up. She offers a bow to Answers from the Stars,
Hmm.
and then makes her way back towards the set proper.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been a scene for Living World of Darkness Werewolf. Sayonara.